and welcome back to week 2 of Decent Man 101 with Coach Key. Have you ever felt like your identity is shaped more by the roles that you play than who you are as an individual woman? Maybe people are always saying that you're so strong, you're a great mother, you're a great wife, but they're never complimenting you as a woman, you as an individual, you as someone outside of the roles that you play. If you can relate to that, then you are not alone. And today we are going to be unpacking why our identity is so often tied into our relation to men. We're also going to be discussing a few ways that you can rewrite your own narrative so that way you can get out of this cycle of only being able to be identified by how you are to men and what you do for men and what your relationship to men looks like. So we're going to start out by talking about how women's identities are shaped in relation to men. Now, this is very important to talk about because what a lot of people don't realize is that our identities have been shaped in relation to men since we were a child. It starts in childhood. It starts in the media. That's why we have framed this class around the Bechdel test, because it starts with the media that you consume as a child. It starts with the messaging that your parents give you about men as a child. It starts with the messaging that your parents give you, that your friends give you, that you learn at school, that you learn through socialization about men. And a lot of times society is conditioning women to only view themselves in relation to their relationship with a man. So are you a mother? Are you a wife? Are you a boy? Are you a girlfriend? Okay, so from an early age, right, little girls are taught that their appeal is based on what they do for a man and how they appeal to a man. Even in elementary school, little girls are being told, you're so pretty, you're so polite, you're so nice. A lot of the compliments that little girls are getting are things that are about their physical, about how well they support people, how nice they are to others, how kind they are to others. Whereas little boys, they receive different messaging. Little boys are being told how smart they are. Little boys are being told strong they are. Little boys are being told completely different messaging than what little girls are being told. Little girls are being told things that will boost up their self-esteem when it comes to how they look. That'll boost up their self-esteem, that determines how they are socially. Whereas little boys, the things that they're being told focuses on who they are as a person. It focuses on who they are to themselves. You're smart, you're getting good grades. You're strong, you're really good at sports. These are things that have to do with who they are as a person. Whereas girls, from a young age, girls are taught that the things that matter is how pretty they are, how much boys like them. They're being told how much boys are interested in them is what matters the most. Now, this conditioning does not stop in childhood, y'all. This continues through childhood, because what ends up happening is that now this little girl who received all this messaging in relation to a man, because it goes this way and not this way, so all of these messaging in relation to a boy, now this travels into adulthood, and now she's hyper focused on being the prettiest girl in the room. Now she's hyper focused on being the most attractive or being the most sought after woman in the room by men, because of the messaging that she received as a girl. Even at work, she's looking for compliments from men at work. She's looking for compliments from men on social media. The girl who received this messaging solely about her looks as a child is still looking for those things in their adult relationships. They're the ones posting certain things on social media because they want the attention of men on social media, and for free. I am all for women posting things on social media for men and getting paid. I'm all for that. I am not for women posting things on social media just for the attention of males, because that does nothing long term for you. Just having their attention means nothing. Just having their attention does nothing for you. But when you are a girl that received this kind of messages throughout your childhood, it's hard for you to differentiate between what you actually want from a man and what society has told you should be getting from a man, or what society has told you should matter about your relationship to that man. Another way that this messaging shifts into adulthood is that women, I say this all the time, women will build their lives around their family. Men, boys coming into men, they will build their life and their family will have to figure it out. I say all the time, if you're in a partnership, you both should be building your life around your child. It shouldn't be a situation where you have built your entire life around your family. You know your kids schedule. You know when their doctor's appointments are. You know when everything is due, when everything needs to be done. You are the one keeping track of everything in your household. You are the one making sure that appointments are being met, lunch is being packed. You should not be the one taking on all of the labor of keeping up with the family calendar, because there are two people in the household, there are two adults in the household that are managing the household. So you should have a partner who can support you in those things, because if you're doing all of the emotional labor in the home, if you're doing all of the physical labor, if you're doing all the mental labor in the home, and your partner is not doing any of these things, it's going to burn you out. And a lot of us don't realize that the only reason why we are accepting that lifestyle is because of the messaging that we received as a child. It's because of what we saw in our homes growing up. It's because of the experiences that our friends around us are having. So I definitely want you to take into consideration your lifestyle now. Like if you are building your life around your family, you're building your life around your kid, you're building your life around your husband, but your partner is just living their life. He's just living his life. That's going to let you know that you are having an issue with decentering men, because a woman who has decentered men, she's going to be very firm about, this is my schedule, this is what I want to do, this is important to me. Can you support me? Can you show up for me? Can you be there for me through this time? Can you take on a heavier load for the next few months while I work on this goal? That is partnership. That is true partnership. That is a relationship where the man is not just the sole priority, because at the end of the day, both of y'all needs are important. Both of y'all's priorities are important. Both of y'all's goals are important. And y'all should be working as a team to be able to tackle those goals. But if it looks like you're always putting your things on the back burner, so that way he can put his things on the front and he can get his things done, then you have not decentered men, and it's time for you to start. You are more important than what you offer to others. So let's talk about reclaiming your identity beyond male-centered roles. Because the thing is, when you are in a place where you have not decentered men, your whole identity is going to be centered around males. And your identity shouldn't be based on external validation, especially from men, because that's going to come and go. That's going to come and go. There are going to be some days where men are super interested, their attention all on you. There are going to be some days where they're just not. And if you're relying on that external validation to feel good about yourself, then your emotional needs are going to always sweep. So I want you to take a moment. I want you to ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? Who am I when no one is watching? So this is a good question to ask yourself. When you are with men, you are wearing a mask, because when you have indecent men, you're always hyper focused on how what you say is going to impact them. You're always hyper focused about how you feel is going to impact them. So you're going to shrink your feelings. You're going to shrink the things you say. You're going to say less things. You're going to be the one walking on eggshells to make sure he's good, because you don't want to rock the boat. So who am I when no one is watching? When that man is not around, what do you do? What do you enjoy to do? What do you enjoy doing when he's not around? When he is not around, when no one else is watching, when no one else is in the room with you, what do you like to talk about? What do you like to watch? What do you like to do? Who are you when no one else is watching? So if you weren't someone's mother, if you weren't someone's wife, someone's girlfriend, someone's employee, someone's boss, if you weren't all of these different roles, who would you be? When no one is watching, who are you? That is your true self. That is your authentic self. That is the self that you are hiding from the world because you are scared of being alone. Because I'm not going to lie to you, decenter men is going to make you feel alone a lot. You're going to feel alone a lot. So even throughout this journey, I want you to start dealing with that feeling and processing what being alone feels like for you and what that brings up for you. Because when you decenter men, it's going to impact your relationships, because you are going to start showing up as who you are when no one's watching. When you start walking into a room and you just don't care about what anybody thinks, especially the men, that shows up in your energy. That shows up in the people that you accept into your life. That shows up in these situations that you put yourself in and things like that. So many of us have been socialized to see ourselves as helpers first. Again, we talked about before, when you were a little girl, everybody was like, you're so nice, you're so polite, you're so sweet, you so well mannered. Those are the ways that girls were described. And so that's what we internalized growing up. We internalized being nice. We internalized being sweet to people, even if they're rude to us. As we internalize showing up for others and being the help and support for others, even if we don't have the energy to do that, even if we don't have the capacity, even if we don't have the time to do that, that is what we are socialized to do, is to show up for others first and to help others first. what a lot of people miss out on, and I just mentioned that, is like when you walk into a room and you light up because you are indulging in your passions, you're indulging in the things that interest you, you're indulging in the experiences that you want to have, whether you create them for yourself or not. That is what's going to light you up. That's what's going to make you feel alive. That's what's going to make you feel real. Because to be honest, when you have not decentered men, a big part of that is because that relationship with that man is what's making you feel alive. Those compliments make you feel alive. The attention they give you makes you feel alive. The interactions make you feel alive, but then it also depletes you. It also drains you. It also does the complete opposite of those things, right? But when you are indulging in who you are when no one is watching, and you take that into the outside world, that's when you're really gonna light up. That's when you're really gonna show up as your full self. And I want to get rid of this misconception too, that breaking free from male-centered views is about rejecting relationships with men. That is not what this is about. This is about making sure that your relationship with men is not consuming your life. Think about all the women who have spent their entire life crashing out about a man, and think about all the times you've had conversations with them. You're like, damn, you're so smart, or damn, you're so talented. You're like, dang, you really could, do some shit out here. Like, you really could be on Forbes. You really could be the 40 under 40. Like, you really could be the next millionaire. Like, you really could do these things. But every time she's coming to talk to you, it's about a man. Every time she's stressing about something, it's about a man. When she doesn't get that promotion at work, it's because she's spending all her time at work arguing with this man. So think about that, y'all. It's not about rejecting relationships with men. It's about making sure those relationships don't consume you. It's about making sure those relationships aren't what you are giving yourself to feel super energized. It's not what you're giving yourself to feel good about yourself. And it's not what you're giving yourself to validate who you are as a woman. So I want to give you a quick mid-class exercise, right? And I want you to pause this video right now and take some time to do this. So if you were writing a biography about yourself and you could not detail anything about men, what would you say about yourself? What would you write? What would you talk about? So I want you to pause this video really quick, 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and just write down what you would talk about. How would you describe yourself? What would you say that you do on the daily? Take out all your interactions with men and only talk about everything else. So we talked about how your identity is shaped in relation to men, and we talked about reclaiming your identity from these male-centered views. Now I want to talk about some strategies for self-prioritization, because that is where you are going next. Is you're going to have to start prioritizing yourself, and it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard for you to say no, especially if you're a people pleaser. It's going to be very hard for you to turn down invites. It's going to be very hard, especially if you have FOMO. It's going to be very hard for you to be alone. That's why I want you to process what that feels like. This is going to be hard, y'all. I don't ever give y'all tips to do easy things. If it was easy to do, y'all wouldn't need this class. You wouldn't be viewing these videos. So you're here because this is hard, and you tried to do it yourself and you failed at doing it yourself, and you keep running back to this person, or you keep having the same experiences with men over again. So that is why you're here. Take these strategies. Use these strategies. Be realistic about these strategies. Number one, y'all should know, is set boundaries. You're going to have to set boundaries. You are going to have to set boundaries. You are going to have to set boundaries. Okay? You're going to have to set boundaries. You need to ask yourself, where are you over accommodating for men? Where are you being over accommodating? He's canceled on you 3 times and it's fine. It's okay. He has no showed on you twice and you're still texting and calling his phone. Hey, you good? What's going on? Where are you over accommodating? You've asked for flowers for 3 dates and you still ain't got no flowers. Set boundaries. A reason why I say this is going to be hard, because when you're setting boundaries, which a big thing about setting boundaries is this has nothing to do with the men. You setting boundaries has nothing to do with the men. This has everything to do with you making sure that you are getting your needs met and your wants met. Whatever they have going on is on them, because they can either do it or they can't. So when they can't do it, when you set your boundaries and they're like, that doesn't work for me. Okay, well, next. Thank you for your time. Have a great life, or whatever life you deserve. So you have to set boundaries. You have to start checking yourself. Where are you being over accommodating? Where are you being too nice? I tell women all the time, they better be glad it's you and not me, because I would have checked him. I tell women all the time, he better be glad it is you and not me, because I am all about giving people grace and giving people compassion, because we are all humans. We're all experiencing life. We're all doing our best. But there's also consideration that's necessary. There's also the fact that you need to like me, because a lot of the things that women aren't setting boundaries about, you end up dating men who don't even like you. Like, these men don't want to see you happy. That's why they won't get you flowers. That's why they won't take you to the places that you want to go to. That's why they won't invest in you. That's why they won't spend more quality time with you. That's why they're only, hitting you up late at night, because you haven't set boundaries to say that this is what I want. Can you accommodate this? And if they can't, then you need to move on, because being over accommodating is not going to make you the winner. You're not going to get picked because you're being over accommodating. All that's going to do is bring in more men who can't offer you anything but the minimum, but you're over accommodating, so you keep accepting it. Now, a good way that this looks like, because a lot of times when we're talking about boundaries, we are talking about like expectations of what you want from other people. When we're setting boundaries too, also think about the times that you're over explaining yourself. Stop doing that. Stop over explaining yourself to a man. It's like that anime conversation, right? If you tell a man that you watch anime and he tries to give you a quiz to see if you watch anime, cut him off. You don't have to explain yourself to him to justify who you are, or you are what you said you are. And that's with anything. Anytime you're having a conversation with a man and you feel like you're having to over explain yourself, that needs to be a boundary where you're like, you're just not. You're not going to over explain yourself, because someone who's good at communicating and someone who has really good communication skills, they're going to be able to meet you. They're going to be able to meet you. And if they don't understand something genuinely, they're going to know how to ask to clarify and to get more information. Don't waste your time with somebody that you feel like you're always having to, like, let's say you send a text message and they're confused as hell, but the text message was very clear. And now here you are sending a long text message or a long voice message explaining that text message when it was already clear. Set boundaries and say, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. You're not going to over explain. You're not going to try to justify things that don't need to be justified. You're just going to show up as you are. The next one is, you need to pursue your defined goals. What is something that you've wanted to do that has nothing to do with a man and nothing to do with caregiving? Nothing to do with taking care of anybody but yourself. Pursue those goals. One of my goals was solo traveling, y'all. And I went and saw Usher by myself in Vegas. And I was on the floor, like he was right in front of me. But had I still had this mindset of, oh my gosh, no, I need a man to go with me or I'm not going to feel safe, or oh my gosh, I need a man to go with me or I'm not going to enjoy myself as much, I would have never seen Usher up close in person. I could have touched him, y'all. He was sweating right in front of me. I love Usher. Back to class. Pursue your goals, okay? I've had so many life experiences that I wouldn't have had if I had told myself, oh, I'll just wait until I get a man. I've had so many life experiences that I would not have had if I told myself that a man needed to be present in order for me to enjoy it. Even there is a big conversation online with women buying homes without a man. And people are like, you shouldn't do that. You should wait till you got a man. What is he going to think? How would I know what the hell he think? I don't know that man. That man is a stranger. Sorry to that man. Pursue your goals. Pursue your self-defined goals, okay? Put your energy into the things that you want. Y'all, there are so many goals I've hit over the last few years. Let me think. One of my goals was to have a $5,000 saving account. I remember that was such a struggle for me because I think I was making like $37,000, $38,000 at the time when I was teaching. So it wasn't happening on that salary. And in the relationship that I was in at the time, because we were always, it was a struggle. It was a toxic relationship because we were always like battling and beefing and my energy was going into that. I just didn't put the energy into finding a higher paid job. I didn't put the energy into believing I deserved to be paid more. But once I was finally out of that relationship and once I was finally in a space where I freed up a lot of my energy, I was able to increase my income about almost 35, 40K, simply because that's where my energy was invested. That was a goal of mine. And I no longer had someone draining my energy because we were always fighting. So now I was able to put energy into my finances. I was able to get off my mama's couch. I was sleeping on my mama's couch for 3 years and I was able to get off my mama's couch. Like, these are the things that are going to happen in your life. You're going to be changing the trajectory of your bloodline when you decenter men and when you pursue your self-defined goals and when you focus on the things that are going to elevate your life and elevate the lives of those that come after you. Last but not least, I know we work in threes in this class. Last but not least, you want to challenge your internalized views, okay? Challenge your internalized views. Y'all know I'm really big on getting on your lawyer shit, okay? And when I say get on your lawyer shit, I want you to challenge every thought that pops up when you are decentering men. I want you to you need to provide proof. When that thought pops up, the only way you can keep that thought is if you provide proof that it is true and that it is accurate and that it is a reflection of where you are going. Not where you are, but where you are going. Is that thought a reflection of where you were going? There are times where, and let me say this too. Decentering men is not something you're just gonna do one time and then you're just never gonna, have an issue with men again. Like there are still times where I'm like, I want to FaceTime my homeboy, but last time I was on the phone with him, he wasn't talking about shit. So it's like there are still times where I have to check myself and I have to be like, nah, I don't want to talk to him because I know how our last conversation went. Like I know he's gonna call me beautiful. I know he's gonna drool when we get on the phone. And that would be nice. Maybe I need some drooling right now. Maybe I need some drooling. But then I have to check myself and be like, nah, it's not worth the dumb conversation that we're gonna have or the annoyance that I'm gonna feel by calling him just for a little bit of attention. So challenge your views, challenge those thoughts that pop up, challenge the things that you want to do. Because like I said, when I have those moments where I'm like, oh, I want to call my homeboy, or even when I want to hit up an ex, when I have those moments, I challenge myself in real time in those moments. Because why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do that? What's the point? And then I try to think about too, I think about like, why are we not communicating as much as is? Why are we not talking as is? Why are they in the past as is? So you're going to have to challenge those views. You're going to have to challenge the things that you feel. You're going to have to challenge the things that you say. There are going to be things that you say and it's no longer going to align with where you're going. You have to challenge those things. There are going to be times where you're like, dang, I really want to go on a date on Friday and I'm just not going to go anywhere because I don't have nobody to go with me. Challenge that. Why are you so scared to go by yourself? Why does it bother you so much to go out to eat by yourself? Why does it bother you so much to go to the movies by yourself? Can't nobody even see you. Why does it bother you so much to go to a festival by yourself or to travel by yourself? Why do these things bother you so much? You need to challenge those views because until you start challenging how you think, you're never going to get to that place of accountability to even decenter men in the first place. Because I talked about, and when we discussed week one's homework, accountability is going to be a big part of decentering men because it's up to you to make the decision not to allow certain behavior in your life. You can't keep saying he's toxic, he's this, he's that, but then you answer the phone for him every time. Challenge that. When you answer that phone, why did you answer that phone? He been ghosting you for 2 weeks. Why did you answer the phone? Challenge your actions, challenge your behaviors. That is what self-growth looks like. Self-growth and self-care is not just facials, massages, working out. It is about challenging who you currently are versus who you want to be and allowing other people to do the same. I am an avid believer in community. Y'all know I am really big on community. Y'all know I truly believe that we need each other. So a big part of that is having those real conversations with the people around you and seeing how they view you. I've learned so much about myself simply by talking to other people about me because I'm like, oh my God, that's how you see me? That's so nice. We did 2 truths and a lie at my internship like a couple weeks ago during supervision. And one of my things was I used to model, or I have modeled. And people were like, everybody in the room was like, oh, that's true. We're not worried about that. I was like, really? That's so nice of y'all. I have modeled. I didn't see myself in that light until the people around me were like, yeah, you definitely model. Like, you look like you have modeled. And I was like, oh, that's so nice of y'all. You have to start challenging these views because I didn't see that about myself. I don't look at myself and be like, oh, she models. But having that conversation with the people around me confirmed, like, dang, this is how people see me. This is how people view me. This is what people are thinking about me. So have those conversations, challenge your views, challenge your perspectives of who you are versus where you're going. Thank y'all so much to everyone who has stayed tuned in this long. If you are still watching the video at this time, drop a green heart in the chat. Make sure you drop a green heart if you are still watching. All right, today's video was all about rewriting the narrative. Today was all about understanding how your image is shaped in relation to men and rewriting that narrative, reclaiming your own identity and creating a new identity, because when you decenter men, you're going to create a new person. You are not going to be the same person that you were before you decenter men. You're just not. The woman that I am now is completely different than the woman that I was 3 years ago. So let's get into y'all's homework, because we got homework every week, y'all. We got homework every week. So this week's homework assignment is to create a vision board or a list of goals that have nothing to do with a man. So homework is create a vision board or a list of goals that have nothing to do with the man. So if you create a vision board, one thing that I advise when you create your vision board is to make sure that you are putting a clear goal. So let's say that you have financial goals. So you're like pulling out pictures of money, you're pulling out, bag, whatever your financial goals look like. Make sure that you put a specific goal with those images. So add a specific goal with those images, and that looks like I will have, let me give y'all an example. I have, let's be present minded about this. I have $2,000 saved by June 3rd. Okay. So let's say you have a financial goal. So when you are doing your vision board and you're putting the pictures and you're making it all nice and pretty, after you do that, make sure each goal has a specific goal, like has words, has language, a specific goal. I have $2,000 saved by June 3rd. That is a specific goal. With that goal, make sure you put like 1, 2, or 3 action steps. So what that looks like is I have 2,000 saved by June 3rd. That means I'm going to have 500 saved by a certain date. And then I'm going to put 250 by a certain date. And I'm going to put 1,000, like make sure that you are not just making a pretty board that looks good on the wall, because that's not enough. Make sure when you make your vision board that you are putting a specific goal with those images. Now, if you are doing the list of goals, do the same thing. I want y'all to use SMART goals. This is a SMART goal. What I just showed y'all is a SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable, it's specific because you're saying I have $2,000. It's measurable because we're saying the amount. It's actionable because this is something that you can do, you can break down. Like this is a goal that can be broken down that you can't do. It's realistic if you can realistically save $2,000 by June, then it's realistic. If you know you're not in a financial situation where you can save $2,000 by June, make sure that number for your finances is realistic to your current income and your bills and things like that. And then time, we put time on it because we said by June 3rd. So make sure your goals are SMART. And I do have a SMART goals video. Ooh, I have a SMART goals mini class. So I will link the SMART goals mini class in the bottom. I do have that. So make sure that you are creating a vision board that has SMART goals on it. Or if you are doing the goals, use SMART goals to do that. And make sure it has nothing to do with a man. So right now, we're not worried about romantic goals. We're not worried about love goals. We're worried about making sure, and I talked about this on my live on Sunday. Make sure y'all are tuning into the lives on Sunday. We are focused on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the very bottom, clothing, food, shelter. Those are the bare bottoms. You need to make sure that those basic needs are met and then go up the hierarchy of needs and to the point, because I think the final part of the pyramid is self-actualization. In our case, the final part of our pyramid is the fact that you have decentered men and men are not running your life anymore. All right, let's get into this week's conscious conversation exercise because y'all know y'all got to talk about this. So this week's conscious conversation exercise, and I'm not going to write so listen and write it down. Actually, you know what? I'll put it in the chat. I will put the exercise in the chat. But so this week's conscious conversation exercise, I want you to identify one area in your life where you have prioritized male validation. And I want you to set a boundary around that this week. Set a boundary around that. And I want you to reflect on how it felt to set that boundary and how it felt to have that boundary in place all week. Now, this can look like declining one of your male coworkers' advice because you trust your own expertise. This could be saying no to an expectation where you are supposed to be more accommodating or agreeable. This can also look like speaking up in a conflict when you would usually be quiet or say nothing. At the end of the week, I want you to reflect on what setting this boundary felt like. I want you to identify what resistance came up with setting this boundary. I also want you to identify how this shifted your sense of self. Now, make sure you tune in next Sunday at 8 p.m. because we are live every Sunday to discuss the homework, and we're going to discuss your conscious conversation exercise. I would love for you to either join my live. That would be beautiful. I would love for you to join my live or to just drop your experience in the comments, in the chat, so that way we can talk about it during our live on Sunday at 8 p.m. Thank you everyone for joining me again for week 2 of Decentering Men 101. I'm super excited about what this journey is going to take you on in your life. Anybody that you know relates to this, please make sure you share this video with them, tag them in the comments, get this video out to everyone who needs to watch it. I trust that my video is finding the people who are looking for me. Thank y'all for joining me, and I will see y'all again next week for week 3 of Decentering Men 101.